Most of us have no idea what things we should focus on in order to live a happy life. We often find ourselves chasing external rewards like wealth, status, or material possessions, believing they will bring lasting happiness. For instance, we aim to acquire houses, cars, or clothing, climb the corporate ladder, or amass financial success. Yet, after achieving these goals, we are often left with an empty feeling, realizing that our pursuits have failed to provide meaningful satisfaction. This endless cycle, known as the hedonic treadmill, keeps us running toward new goals without ever reaching fulfillment. Each time we achieve something, we celebrate briefly before setting new, often higher targets, convincing ourselves that this time will be different. The focus on external rewards also pulls us away from the present moment, leaving us unable to derive pleasure from what is happening here and now. Additionally, our unhappiness is exacerbated by internal conflicts, the chaos of our own minds. Our attention jumps from one meaningless distraction to another, and conflicting desires can leave us paralyzed. For example, someone might dream of starting a business but be held back by fear and self-doubt. This inner tug-of-war creates a state of psychic entropy, draining our energy, depletes our focus, and prevents us from investing attention in what truly matters. Ultimately, many of us lack a sense of meaning or purpose. When our lives are driven solely by the need for money, status, or fleeting pleasures, we lose connection with the deeper reasons for our existence. Without purpose, our days feel empty and our achievements seem hollow. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, a renowned psychologist and author of the book Flow, The Psychology of Optimal Experience, argues that breaking free from this state requires us to engage fully with life and pursue experiences that challenge and fulfill us, what he calls the flow state. The flow state is where we experience life at its best. It occurs when we are completely absorbed in an activity that is challenging yet rewarding, leaving us energized, focused, and deeply satisfied. All our psychic energy is directed toward a single goal. There are no distractions, no inner conflicts, and no lower-level emotions, such as fear, anxiety, or doubt to pull us away. In this state, everything feels aligned, and we engage so fully with the task at hand that nothing else matters. During flow, we lose our perception of self and time. Hours can pass in what feels like minutes, and we often do these activities purely for the joy of the experience itself. This state is the polar opposite of psychic entropy, where our minds are chaotic and unfocused, and time feels long, tedious, and dreadful. In contrast, flow creates a peak state of consciousness where all our attention and energy flow in the same direction. As Albert Einstein famously put it, "Put your hand on a hot stove for a minute and it seems like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour and it seems like a minute." That's relativity. This perfectly illustrates the contrast. When we are in flow, time almost ceases to exist. We become so deeply absorbed in the task that we lose track of ourselves and the world around us. Everything else fades away, leaving only the activity and the pure joy of the experience. Athletes often describe this as being in the zone. A basketball player, for instance, might feel every movement of the game sink perfectly. Their shots seem effortless, and they lose awareness of the crowd, time, or fatigue. Similarly, entrepreneurs working on a business they are passionate about might lose themselves in the process, spending hours brainstorming ideas, solving problems, or refining the strategy without noticing the clock. For artists, flow emerges when a painter is fully immersed in their brushstrokes, or a musician plays as if the instrument is an extension of themselves. Csikszentmihalyi describes flow as the antidote to a meaningless life because it transforms ordinary experiences into opportunities for growth, creativity, and joy. People who experience flow more often are not only happier but also more productive, resilient, and fulfilled. Flow allows us to live life fully rather than just drifting through it. To experience flow, certain conditions must align. 1. Clear goals. The task should have clear, specific objectives that provide direction and purpose. 2. Immediate feedback. The activity must provide real-time feedback, allowing you to adjust your actions and track progress. 3. Balance between challenge and skill. The task should be well suited to your abilities, challenging enough to engage you, but not so difficult that it creates anxiety. 4. Intrinsic motivation. The activity should be inherently interesting or enjoyable, driven by your own desire rather than external rewards. 5. Focused concentration. Full immersion in the present moment is essential. Distractions or divided attention will break the flow. 6. Sense of control. You should feel capable of managing the task, fostering confidence and autonomy. 7. Loss of self-consciousness. In flow, you lose awareness of yourself as a separate entity and become one with the task at hand. When these elements come together, you lose yourself in the task, experiencing a deep sense of focus and satisfaction. The activity becomes intrinsically rewarding, and you feel a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. So, how can we achieve flow more often in our lives, you might ask? To bring more flow into your life, Csikszentmihalyi discusses several key areas: the body, thoughts, work, relationships, and chaos. By improving how we engage in these areas, we can create opportunities for flow in everyday life. Let's explore each of them. Flow in the body. Physical activities are a powerful way to experience flow. Sports, dancing, yoga, and other forms of movement challenge the body and require focus, balance, and control. When you fully engage in physical activities, you connect deeply with your body and mind, achieving flow through rhythmic motion and effort. For example, a runner in full stride or a rock climber navigating a difficult road experiences flow because their skills and the physical challenge align perfectly. To bring flow into your physical life, choose activities that push your limits while keeping you engaged. Flow in thought. Our thoughts shape our experiences. Flow can be achieved through intellectual challenges like solving problems, learning a new skill, or engaging in creative work. Activities such as writing, painting, playing music, or learning a language require focus, curiosity, and skill, making them ideal for achieving flow. Instead of passively consuming entertainment, engage your mind in ways that challenge and inspire you. Replace idle scrolling or binge watching with pursuits that stretch your intellect and creativity. Flow in work. Work can either be a source of stress or a source of flow, depending on how you approach it. Csikszentmihalyi emphasizes that meaningful work is one of the most consistent sources of flow because it provides structure, challenges, and opportunities for mastery. To experience flow at work, Csikszentmihalyi shares the example of a factory worker tasked with assembling components on a production line. While the job initially seemed repetitive and unengaging, the worker began setting personal challenges, completing tasks more efficiently, or finding ways to improve the process. By turning routine tasks into opportunities for mastery and creativity, the worker achieved a sense of flow and transformed their daily work into a source of satisfaction. Even boring, routine jobs can provide flow if you apply the conditions of flow and approach them with creativity. By setting clear goals, fully immersing yourself in the task, and finding ways to make the work engaging, you can transform even mundane activities into meaningful, immersive experiences. Flow in relationships. Flow can also be found in our interactions with others. Meaningful conversations, shared challenges, and collaborative activities create opportunities for deep connection and engagement. Whether it's working on a group project, playing a team sport, or having a stimulating conversation, relationships can become a source of flow when approached intentionally. To cultivate flow in your relationships, consider planning a collaborative project with a partner or friend, such as cooking a complex meal together. This activity requires communication, coordination, and shared effort to achieve a rewarding result. By engaging fully in the process and working toward a shared goal, you can foster deeper connection and create opportunities for mutual growth. Flow in chaos. Life is often unpredictable and chaotic, but Csikszentmihalyi argues that even in chaos, we can find flow by embracing challenges and adapting to change. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, view obstacles as opportunities for growth and learning. By developing resilience and curiosity, you can turn stressful situations into flow experiences. For example, facing an unexpected challenge at work or navigating a personal crisis can be an opportunity to engage your skills, stay focused, and find solutions. Csikszentmihalyi shares the story of a man who became paralyzed from the waist down after a tragic accident. While his initial reaction was grief and despair, he eventually channeled his energy into rehabilitation and new challenges. He learned new skill, adapted to life in a wheelchair, and found joy in adaptive sports. Over time, he pushed his limits and went on to become a regional archery champion while competing in a wheelchair. By focusing on what he could control and finding meaningful activities, he was able to regain purpose and experience flow despite the limitations of his condition. This highlights how even the most difficult circumstances can be transformed into opportunities for growth and fulfillment. To summarize, the path to a fulfilling life is not about avoiding obstacles, but embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. Life will always present difficulties and moments of uncertainty, but it's in those challenges that we have the chance to create meaning. By intentionally seeking flow experiences through activities that stretch our skills, align with our passions, and immerse us fully in the present, we can transform even the most ordinary moments into opportunities for joy, growth, and fulfillment. While achieving flow in specific activities like work, hobbies, or relationships provides temporary joy, it does not inherently create a cohesive life experience. Modern challenges, such as the decline of traditional sources of meaning, like religion, leave individuals responsible for crafting their own purpose. Csikszentmihalyi argues that life becomes meaningful when we develop central goals compelling enough to organize our energy and experiences into a unified whole. The key to transforming a boring and meaningless life lies in how we approach our challenges. By applying the principles required for flow, clear goals that give us direction, immediate feedback that helps us adjust and improve, and a balance between challenge and skill that keeps us engaged without feeling overwhelmed, we can take control of our inner experience. When we fully immerse ourselves in pursuits that engage us, push our limits, and resonate with who we are, each flow moment becomes a stepping stone toward creating a life of purpose and significance. So, ask yourself, What challenges will you embrace? What central goal will guide your actions? The answers to these questions will determine how you shape your days, your flow, and ultimately your life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights on achieving success and living a meaningful life. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.